Lydia Amos.
Here.
Kenneth Johnson. Joan White.
Here.
Tribal Secretary. Tribal Vice Chairman, Chairwoman. Tribal Chairman.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I just want to note for the two that are absent that be excused.
Lord, we come to you today to give you thanks for this beautiful day we have. We ask that you be with the ones that are mourning the loss of their loved one today. Just be with them and comfort them. I also ask that you continue watching over each and every one of our members here as we come together today to make decisions. I ask that you be with every one of us at the table here, that we have open mind and we do what we need to do to take care of our membership. And I ask you to continue praying for the ones that are sick and in hospital, the ones that are at home not feeling good. Just comfort them and be with them. I ask that you be with our youth, guide them, protect them. And I ask that you just pray for our community as a whole, that we would be safe. And I ask this all in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Tribal Secretary. First on the agenda, we have Education Department. Good morning and welcome, and the floor is yours.
Hahanawashte, thank you for the nice prayer this morning, and including my family and all of that. So I appreciate all of that. With that, I'd just like to welcome you all to the second day of council for this month, and I'd like to say thank you all for being here. My first action item would be the resolution for the master contract. I know that Yolanda is requesting all our budgets up now, and this master contract resolution will match the funding contract because it's time to request for a new contract.
Okay, get a motion from Enemy Swim. Second from Bikuli. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Then I have a couple items here that are just FYI. I have included in the packet that I passed out this morning the approvals from Enemy Swim for that. And so they are actually moving forward on their construction project now. And that is after, there's actually about 10 steps into this process. And so they're getting really close to actual groundbreaking and things for there. But you can see the approval by the BIE as official now. The other FYI I put in your packet is that we were approved our grant. It was just a little mini grant from the AAIA, and that was the award letter there. It's going to go for youth collaboration between the Sarah Lincoln and the Diabetes Center and the Youth Center, Derek and his team. So we're setting up a day, so it'll be used for that purposes. So with that, I'd like to go ahead, and now that Lenny's back in the room, to go ahead and look at the construction. I really believe that we need to have a replacement Head Start building up in Enemy Swim. No, I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about things like black mold in the building. I'm concerned about the snakes falling out of the lights, the snakes coming through the cracks in the cinder blocks on there. So keep in mind that our Shishecha, our youngest, our most sacred, are in that building. And so with that, you know, this is the construction proposal. We've gone through all the correct and procedures and worked with procurement, worked with all of our contractors and everything to get this. We did go back to the table with our contractors and with our proposed our two entities that this has there, and tried to renegotiate, but not renegotiate, but really look at how we can cut down some costs. And they're all at the table with us, and they just believe with the price of the lumber, the price of the construction materials and the shipping and all of that, that we're still feeling the impacts of the coronavirus price hikes on all of that. So they really believe that this is the only way that we could have a lesser amount for this proposal would be to cut square footage. And even looking at the square footage, there's almost no way we can cut out for what we need. We really need to have in the building itself, have a little kitchen, have a classroom for a 3-4-year-old classroom. And then the expansion part of this is to have a birth two room. So actually expanding in there. So that will also help our daycare situation, because then really it turns our Head Start into a educational center, but it also provides daycare and keeps our tribal members employed there. And so with that, and then with the fact that our Head Start will be has been a low enrollment, and we're going to need to either decrease those slots and decrease the budget, or we need to convert those slots over to early Head Start slots. And that would be the proposal that I've been talking all along, is to convert those slots. As soon as we have a building that can happen, is convert them from a 3-4-year-old classroom to early Head Start classrooms. And so we'll have the same makeup that we have here in our biggest district. And you got to know, Enemy Swim is our biggest district and still growing. And so with that, and does host its own school. So I would strongly encourage that you support our proposal. We're sitting here, and I don't know what else you would like me to do. I could grovel, beg, cry, any of those things, but I would appeal to the tribal council to go ahead and approve this budget. What this means is there was $2.5 million set aside for this in our funding that we have discussed all along there. The proposal came in about 800 over costs, and so it's an extra 800 that was not accounted for. So with that, that's the real request right here, is to approve this proposal. So thank you, Council.
Any questions or comments, Tribal Council? Enemy Swim?
So I know that this has been in the works for a long time, and it has been talked about for years and years and years, as far as I can remember. And this is the closest it's ever come to fruition. And unfortunately, with COVID, with the pricing, it's just something that's out of our hands. We can't really do a whole lot about that. And the prices the commodities are what they are. And so I would just like to go ahead and make that motion to approve. And I think this will be a good start for our future, especially since we all know that with the communities growing and all 7 districts can go to this area as well, and it would be a boon to the tribe as a whole. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Haipa.
I was hoping we'd have a little more discussion on that, because that is a larger amount of money, and we already had that ARPA set aside for it already. And it's for the Head Start, I understand that, right? And I know we need a facility for Head Start, and we should be, all of that stuff, but that's Head Start, it's way up there, and, you know, no disrespect or anything, but Dr. Johnson, you said that's the Enemy Swim District area, and it's growing, and they host their own school. Then to me, that implies that, you know, Enemy Swim District could put more money into that area for the Head Start. But anyway, either way, I think we still need more discussion on providing more funding for that school.
Dr. Johnson.
Councilwoman, do you want to go? I think your hand was up before mine.
I just, you know, I don't have a problem with this because I'd like to see that school, I mean, the Head Start happen, but I'm just not comfortable without the vice chairman here because she handles the money. So she's going to have to find the money, and I don't want to just say, yeah, we want to do this without her input. And so I'd like to be able to just table this until she's here and can answer, yes, we have the money somewhere to do this.
Okay, so I just want to address Councilwoman Juana's concerns there. All the housing units are up there are open for any, it's not only Enemy Swim, it's all of our tribal members are employed there. All of our Head Starts are open to all of our districts. The day school brings kids in from the 7 districts there. But the reality is that the Enemy Swim district resides right there, and it's primarily a lot of their members that are attending. So just want to clarify that because it is open for all. And yeah, and I know I did do a council roundtable with this discussion, so we've had a lot of talking about this.
Tribal Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So at the last roundtable, when we met with the vice chairwoman, she basically said that she would have to switch some funding around. But it would be totally up to council to decide that. It wasn't, I mean, she's just gonna have to switch some priorities around, take some from here and take some from there, but I mean, she was not opposed to it. It wasn't, she just didn't want to have the decision be her own, is from what I got out of that meeting. So I guess it's up to you guys whether or not you want to move forward on it. I personally think, you know, everything's been done up to this point the correct way, and for this to just take halt again is not going to be good. That's just my personal opinion, but it is up to you guys at this time. So, and the vice chair did mention that in that last meeting. Thank you.
Lake Travers.
I don't recall all of that, but I just, the thing is that $800,000 is a lot of money, and we've just, you know, did the revision of those ARPA funds, and I would just, I mean, if we have to have a special meeting to decide this, I would rather wait and just have her input and say, yes, we have the money to do this, rather than us doing it, and then she's scrambling to look for it. Because we can have a special meeting even next week or Friday or whatever, but I would just like her input on this to tell us, yes, the money is available and there's there, and let's do this. We can take it from here, but I'm just not comfortable doing this right now until she can tell us, yes, the money's there.
Long Hollow.
I would like to make a motion to pass this due to the construction part. We have to get construction going. Otherwise, they'll be working in the winter time.
Okay, got a motion and a second from Long Hollow. Go ahead, Enemy Swim.
And so I've been in extensive talks with the vice chairwoman on this, and even when she was working as the head of the Head Start, she was pushing this project along the best she can with Dr. Johnson, and she has been very supportive of it moving forward just because of the need alone outweighs the cost. And that's kind of the thing here is that, and even yesterday on the record, she said that council, as far as she was aware, was supportive of this project moving forward, and she was okay with that. That was just yesterday. She said that on the record yesterday. It was right before we broke for lunch. So it's already there. She has been vocal about it. When she's saying that council just needs to decide our priorities, well, we can just say ARPA funds, and then we move forward on that however way we feel, as we have been consistently for the last year and a half. Even prior council, this has been on the table since the CARES Act has hit the table. And so any further delay will only serve to hurt the individuals this is meant to help. I just want to say that for the record. Thank you.
Hypa.
As Joan said, that is a lot of other money. And just yesterday, we were talking about the budgets. DCA, was telling that we need to get more grant funding, et cetera. We talked about our budget. We have budgets. We're supposed to follow that budget. We're already over budget on our food cards, for the elder food cards. We're over budget on that part of it. So I guess I'm like, why do we have a budget when we don't even follow it anyways? And and like Joan said, we already did the ARPA resolution. We redid our things on that. And as I said, the Head Start, yes, we need it. Do we have to say you need the full 800,000 approval now before construction begins? And who were the roundtables with? I know we had one roundtable, but I don't know any other roundtables, and were those with just the executives? Dallas, you said you worked, you had extensive discussions with the vice chair and stuff. Well, that would be really good to have all of us have that same extensive discussion so we know exactly where and all of that stuff. And I'm not against it. I'm just worried about the $800,000, where that's going to come from, because as you know, the rest of the community is going to be upset about that, because now that's what's going to happen. What about TZ? What about Town? What about the youth, et cetera? And then, so that was my next question. Next is why I'd like more discussion with Lexi is because is there any money out of the youth funding? We just went on, purchased 15 gaming units yesterday. So how much money can they spare in that area? So, but I guess the first question is, can construction begin without the 800,000 final approval on that?
Enemy Swim.
This is the last. So I do believe we're getting to two separate topics here, Gypsy. I do appreciate your concern regarding the budget yesterday. But if the concern was so much there, then why did this council vote to increase all those budgets if the concern was with the budget? We are talking about the ARPA funds, not gaming. The ARPA funds are at the discretion of council, and how we decide to further help our people is up to us. And that discussion for this has occurred many times, as I said, since the CARES Act, even before you and I have been sitting at this table. And so this project has been started with the intent, even 2 councils ago, they saw the need for this. We just need to see it to fruition. And I'll end with that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, and we have a question from all agency.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, council. That ends my report now.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to be here to give my first report from Head Start. The first month, it's been exciting, interesting, and fun. I started out at Enemy Swim, you know, at the 26 years ago at the center up at Enemy Swim, and I got to go visit the center, same old building, and I'm glad that the motion was passed because it is very hard to see them kids, you know, have to go there every day, but they make do with what they have. So thank you for passing that motion. It means a lot to the Head Start, not just at Enemy Swim down here, because they are part of us, which we have to take care of them, and giving them a new building after 26 years is important, so thank you. So I handed out my report. I'm learning something new every day, which is exciting for me. A lot of old stuff is, you know, just kind of comes back to when I was a teacher over there also. I don't know if I have to read my report, but I pretty much have everything in there. I copied Sherry's report that she used to do because they were very thorough. And I like the way that she, you know, explains everything and puts everything in there. And the managers over there are very knowledgeable of their jobs. And I've thanked them because there's a lot of experience over there that I picked their brains. You know, some have been there 20-some years, 26 years, 20 years and years. So that wealth of knowledge from them is very helpful to me. So when they give me these reports, they're summing it all up and they know what they're doing. So it's very important to me and helpful for me knowing that they know their jobs. There are a few action items that I do need. And one is for, and it is on there, but I also attached an additional one. I did attach additional one that I do need, but the one that we do need is for the Keller mower. It's on there. The mowers are old. So purchasing, and Head Start does have the money, purchasing the equipment is going to be good for Head Start. So I do need a motion for that one. It's for $5,799.
I'll make that motion. Okay, got a motion from All Agency, second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow. You'll get the next tie.
Yes.
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 Thank you. There's also the additional one. The motions that we need, and we are going through procurement, which you'll see procurement on the bottom of the stamp, which is helpful for Head Start because being able to work with the girls is very important, and and they leave that to me, so which is good. On the one, we have a lot of carryover, and it's years 1 and 2. The money is being drawn down, and I think the $288,000, which was carryover that council passed prior, is there. We're just waiting on the 172. So the additional items that we do need, and we did visit with procurement, so this could happen, they did send out the request for quotes. So once we have the motion, we can hurry up and get that process. So that's why we're asking for the motions now, because we didn't get all the quotes back. But we are asking for a new bus. Would like to ask for a council motion for $160,000, not to exceed $160,000.
Is that a mini bus or a big bus?
That's a big bus.
Okay, got a motion from Enemy Swim, second from All Agency. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Thank you. I also have another one for Suburbans. It has two of them. And the reason we do the Suburbans is we have two bus drivers. We're always looking for bus drivers. And sometimes, and we only have two routes. And again, according to the performance standards, kids can only ride the bus for like an hour. So with the Suburbans, and we would have all the, like what TZ has, the backup camera, the backup lights, we would have all that on it. And if we can't pick up, we need the bus to go out to the longer routes, we will have a couple staff that have the tribal license be able to pick up the kids in the local area. And that would kind of open up our bus route a little bit more. So that's why I asked for two of them. Again, a motion for $160,000 not to exceed for two Suburbans.
Lake Traverse.
So these are all coming out of that carryover budget that you're talking about?
Yep.
All
Yep.
of these motions?
All of these motions are going to be
Okay.
coming out of the
Okay,
carryover.
thank you.
HIPAA.
You guys don't have any Suburbans right now?
No.
Okay. I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, got a motion from HIPAA. Second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Council. I also have another one, the playground system for the Head Start and the early Head Start. We have a few playgrounds up there. There's two of them. We'd like to have an additional one over on the early Head Start and on the Head Start. With the additional money, it just helps us for the kids when they all come out to have extra playroom. So one is for $50,000 for the Head Start and $30,000 for the early Head Start. It comes to $80,000, but I'd like to say $90,000 not to exceed, just so we cover everything.
Tribal Secretary.
So I just want to give council an update. I did do a walkthrough over there. I did the daycare. I did early Head Start, and I talked to the staff there, and this is a big need that they were missing out on, especially the Head Start, because they have that big area there, but there's not a whole lot of playground equipment to have them play with. So they're just, they're just standing there, and at recess, they're just, and so this is really going to help them, and I think this has been a long time coming. Because I think there were plans for that playground, but it just never followed. There was no follow through. The other thing I would put on council's radar is that there's probably going to be an upgrade of a fence there at early Head Start. I did look at that fence too, and it's probably needing an upgrade. It's starting to bow down in the back part where the kids are playing in the playground, or in the back there. So just FYI, I did do a walkthrough, and this is a good opportunity for them. Thank you.
HIPAA.
Thank you. I was gonna say they can have relay races. I'm just kidding. Is it possible with that, do those playground equipments come with like shading or anything like that? I mean, because it's all, there's no trees over there, and during the summer it's like super hot, so I'm wondering if anything like that.
They don't come with shading, but shading is something that could be.
We can add, like, plant some trees or something. I don't know if
They
that's,
naturally have some cover over the tunnels and
Yeah.
things that come over, and that's about it. But you're right, there's a huge reason that we need that shade over there, especially early Head Start. There's nothing in Head Start.
okay.
They also did talk about a canopy there on both sites, so that would probably be in the near future too.
We got a long wish list.
Yeah. So somebody make.
Okay, got a motion
One
from
sec,
Enemy
somebody
Swim,
make-
second from All Agency. Question from Lake Traverse.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
There's also one more thing, and I have policy council minutes in the packet, but we had a meeting on June 6th, so the minutes that are in the packet are from last month. But we did meet with policy council, and we are requesting, there is some carryover for this fiscal year. So what the motion will have to read is to approve the budget revision in the amount of $45,007 from fiscal year 2022, year 3. When budget revision is accepted by the Office of Child Support, then it is applied to the carryover for 23, year 4, in the amount of $45,007.
Not child support. Office of Head Start.
Office of Head Start, sorry. We jumped, sorry, Head Start. I'll give you a copy too, Verlin.
Can you say it again, though? I didn't get it all.
To approve the budget revision in the amount of $45,007 from fiscal year 22, year 3, when budget revision is accepted by the Office of Head Start, to then apply for carryover for year 23, year 4, in the amount of $45,000. The whole steps have to be followed. The budget revision has to be done. And then it's a whole process. This way we kill two birds with one stone, getting it from policy council and council. And then next month, once we get it, we just attach the motion and it comes over. So.
I'll make that motion. Okay, got a motion from agency, second from Lake Traverse.
Question?
Question from AIPA.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Last would be to approve all of the reports from Head Start.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, can we get a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion from Tribal Secretary, second from Lake Traverse,
Question?
question from AIPA.
Yes.
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 AIPA.
I had a couple questions. Don't go yet. Can you, CDA, what does that stand for exactly again? Just make, child development? Okay. Do you know how many have gotten that so far from over the last couple of years at least? I know because you recognize them when they get them, so I was just wondering what the total was. I can't remember, if you have it out offhand.
So our new staff, there's two of the staff that have been there that are still in progress. There's another new staff that has been brought in that needs it, and then they don't actually start it until 90 days processing. So 90 days have passed, plus they only start in August.
Okay.
And so there's still some staff that really need to have the CDA. The only staff that are required for the CDA are the early Head Start staff and the teacher aides. If they don't have an early childhood associate, then they can also have a CDA. But their teachers have to have the AA and above.
Okay.
So we're still working on that, but I'm very pleased that, when Lenny went over there and she met with all of them, looked at all their professional development, she did a good job with talking about all of them and getting what needs to do. So we've got we're excited because there's a couple of them that are really close to getting done, and these people have been there for a while.
Yeah,
And so that was really exciting news when she met with me about that.
okay, good, cool. And then one other question was, if you recall, I was always big on the child passenger safety training. So you guys, the Head Start still gives out car seats, correct? Did anybody at the Head Start or Early Head Start get the child passenger safety technician training for that? Okay. So it's right now, is it just watching the video and everything then, when they get it? Is that something that you could put in your plans to get at least one person certified in that thing? As I said, you know, and it's an intense training. I know a few years back when we still had the, what was that program that Shannon was in again? Injury prevention program. Then that grant was done, and we had to close out that grant. So several of us went and got that child passenger safety certification. It's a national training, and what we learned was amazing. And once I learned all of that, because I'm like, I don't want to do this forever, I just want to help close out the grant. But once you get that information, we really are doing our people a disservice when they don't get all the information they could use to ensure their childs are riding safely in a car seat. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. The other thing is they brought that training here, 2 years ago? And so we did have, people be trained on it, but we didn't at that point in time have anybody. But like Lenny said, it would probably be Ruth, and thank you.
Tribal Secretary?
Motion to approve Head Start and Early Head Start.
Okay, get a motion from Tribal Secretary.
Second.
Second from Haipa. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 I got one motion.
Okay, before we move on to enrollment, I want to turn it over to Tribal Secretary as a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I've been getting some phone calls on the summer youth portion of ET demo. And so they had contacted me and asked me if I would present a motion for them. It's going to come out of their budget, but it's going to It's for, to purchase some lawn care, like mowers and stuff, equipment. And then it's to hire some workers to just, mow elders' lawns or, do stuff like that. But it's to not exceed 7,000 for the summer and just putting some kids to work. And so I would like to, with your guys' support, I'd like to make a motion for ET Demo to purchase lawn care equipment to assist the community for the amount not to exceed 7,000. That would be the motion.
Question from Haipa?
Just one question. Last summer, we've had authorized the DARE program to purchase mowers and such. I don't recall how many it was, but is that for the, where are those at? Is that for the building? Huh?
Yeah, we can see where that's at and maybe possibly just use those.
Yeah, because that's what he bought, that's what they
Yeah,
bought them for,
yeah.
because they were doing that with the elders last year. And then that's what I was saying, well, why doesn't that, whatever, but yeah, those were purchased last year.
And then the other thing is housing isn't taking any of the summer youth workers this year too, so that's kind of why. But if it's coming out of their budget, ET Demo's budget, I'm all for it, so.
Second. Yeah, he made it.
Okay, got a motion from Tribal Secretary, second from All Agency. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, Mr. Secretary, you can follow up on those other ones?
Yep, I will
Okay.
do my follow-up on their
Okay.
program and their
All right,
equipment and
great,
stuff
thank you.
too. Yep, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on, we have Enrollment Office.
Good morning, Tribal Council. I'll be presenting the enrollment report today. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of these names. Okay, starting with Exhibit A, we have 2 individuals requesting enrollment with the Sisseton Wapton Oyate. They are Abel Ash Nelson and Axton Otto Simon. Under Exhibit B, we have 13 applicants requesting enrollment. Lily Ann Odlin, Joré Boroto Batista Lones Jr., Kimimala Charity Evely Cloudman, Avery Jonathan Eagle, Talon Beverly K. Getzlaff, Kingsley James Augustine, Nunez Olivar, sorry. Chesney Cheyenne Ortley, Easton Ladine Ortley, Harley Ladeau Ortley, TJ Jordan Lee Robertson, Laurel Ann Rush, Brielle Ivy Jean Schneider, and Theo J. Strickerts. Under Exhibit C, we have 19 applicants requesting enrollment. Tristan James Bercier, Landon Matthew Dorvey, Tyler Michael Dorvey, Akipa Naata Ani Erdrich, Kenzie Lee Esmarie Genia, Alora Lynn Hansen, Louise Fred Hart Jr., Kinsley Tilly Heineke, I don't know if that's or Coe Richard Heineke, Emma B. Labatt, Ziomara Itzel Pablo Genia, Alexa Catalino Pablo Perez, Henry, Eli Avon Tomas, Pablo Perez, Olivia Ann Rose Renville, Kimberly Autumn Rashat, Isaac Edward Robertson, Isabella Mamie Robertson, Anthony Turner Tiger, and Vanessa Marie Toll. And under Exhibit D, we have 2 individuals requesting relinquishment from enrollment with Assistant Watanoyate. They are Brian Barron Clark and Ruby Rose Clark, both of them to enroll with 3 affiliated tribes.
I'll make a motion for Exhibit A, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, got a motion from Tribal Secretary, second from Haipa. Question from Long Hollow.
Tribal Secretary? Brandon Gypsy Wana?
Yes.
Janelle Cook? Brandon Adams? Dallas Owen? A. Lydia Amos? Joan White?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept Exhibit B.
Okay, got a motion from Haipa, second from Lake Traverse. Question from Long Hollow.
Brandon Gypsy Wana?
Yes.
Janelle Cook? Brandon Adams?
Yes.
Dallas Owen? A. Lydia Amos? Joan White?
Yes.
Tribal Secretary?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you.
Motion for Exhibit C.
Okay, got a motion from Tribal Secretary. Second from Enemy Swim.
Question.
Question from Lake Traverse.
Tribal Secretary?
Yes.
Brandon Gypsy Wana?
Yes.
Janelle Cook? Brandon Adams?
Yes.
Dallas Owen? A. Lydia Amos? Joan White?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you.
I make a motion to accept Exhibit D.
Okay, got a motion from Haipa. Second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow.
Brandon Gypsy Wana?
Yes.
Janelle Cook? Brandon Adams?
Yes.
Dallas Owen? A. Lydia Amos? Joan White?
Yes.
Tribal Secretary? Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Okay, Tribal Council, starting today, we had 14,729 enrolled members. We added 34 today, minus the 2 relinquishments and minus the 11 from the May deceased report. That brings us to a grand total of 14,750. Of those, 6,311 live on reservation, 8,439 live off the reservation. And for district enrollments, Biculi has 1,136, Buffalo Lake 606, Enemy Swim 1,851, Haipa Veblen 1,573, Lake Traverse 1,291, Long Hollow 1,132, and Old Agency has 1,480 for a grand total of 9,069 registered voters. And of those, 10% is 907, 20% would be 1,814, and 30% would be 2,721. That concludes the enrollment report.
Okay, any other questions or comments for enrollment?
Motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion from Tribal Secretary,
Second.
second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow.
Tribal Secretary? Brandon Gypsy Wana?
Yes.
Janelle Cook? Brandon Adams?
Yes.
Dallas Owen? A. Lydia Amos? Joan White?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tribal Council.
I guess we'll take a short break, and then we have law enforcement last this morning. Okay, we'll come back from break. I guess we'll start with Realty quick. He has one request for us, action item, so we'll get him quick on the agenda so he can get that taken care of.
Good morning, Tribal Council. Sorry to bother you 2 days in a row. We were working with procurement on this tractor purchase for quite a while. She was able to secure a quote. It will be a sole source. Haying season has started. The guys are using one tractor to do, I think, almost 600 acres of hay ground. We did discuss this with the executives a month ago about finding a funding source. I do not have it in my current budget, nor does Buffalo Management. Meeting with finance, there is funding available, but the vice chairwoman would have to approve that. There was mention of a lease income gold money market account that has quite a significant amount of funds available. But other than that, I would just need you guys to approve the purchase lease. The way the quote's set up is if we do a lease, which we are wanting to do, it gives the guys time to get to know the equipment, get familiar with it. If it works for us, then we'll do the opt to buy and we'll bring that back to council for approval. But because it's a different type of tractor, it's not a John Deere, the typical ones you see around, but so far it meets the needs of the program. We just need to test it and go through it for a year, and then we'll know for sure if we absolutely want to buy it. So the lease payments will be roughly $14,000 a year. Like I said, after this season, we'll know if we want it for sure, and then we'll come back in front of you guys to either purchase or to opt out of the lease. So we just need the motion to approve the executive or the chairman signature authority to execute the purchase. Sorry, got tongue tied. And then the vice chairwoman would be authorized to find the funding source. Like I said, I don't have it in my year's budget, but talking with finance, there's funds available. I don't like putting that pressure on the vice chairwoman, but we're kind of in dire straits and we need to get this equipment.
Okay, any questions or comments from tribal council? Lake Travers.
So so you're looking at just the lease now, the one for the 14,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And then with the option to buy in 6 months?
Yes, yep.
Enemy swim.
So just so make it clear for everyone, if we decide not to do this, is it likely that we'll be missing out on how many cuts this year, do you think?
Yeah, if we operate with one tractor, we probably won't get half of our ground cut. The guys right now are using one tractor for the mower, for the baler, and for the rake. So every time they lay a field down, they got to hook up the rake it up, hook up the baler, bale it up, and it's not working. It's time consuming to do it this way, and if we have a second tractor, it'll alleviate that stress. We're using natural resources for years, but that got burnt up in the fire. That hasn't been replaced. That's not operational. So we have no other option at this point. So we really need this tractor.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion from Old Agency. Second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you, Tribal Council. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, you want to squeeze? Okay, we'll do the radio station quick.
Council handed out the request that I emailed to Lexi requesting our final quarterly payment. I've talked to a few guys and we're very, very short on funds where we might not make payroll. And I've been before you guys 3 times now requesting an increase in our budget, once with the executives and 2 months in a row roundtables. So if we would have got our budget increase, I wouldn't be here today, but this is where I'm at.
Enemy Swim.
So if we approve your request for the quarterly payment of 25,000, is that going to affect your first quarter payment going to next year?
No, it shouldn't, because when I talked to Lexi, the vice chairwoman, she said that we should put in for that budget increase in FY '24. And if you guys approve that, then we should be good for that year. Plus, and I told you, Dallas, that we did enter in an MOA with a company to help us do advertising, because we're broke, we don't have the money. But they're agreeing to do it on a 15% commission. So we're doing what we can to get money, but you know, it's a little bit tough. First year this is our first full year in April running the Shota.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, got a motion from Enemy Swim. Second from Lake Traverse. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 And Chairman, I did email the council and the execs the 2022 bank statements, and I did email Lexi the first 2 quarters of our bank statements. So you have all our financials for the last year and a half. And I would like to request, since previous council, I'm not sure if this council wanted us to report, if we could get on the July agenda on gaming day, and we'll give you guys a report.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just get a hold of Berlin.
Berlin, okay.
I guess with that being said too, you know, they have an advisory board meeting, and if we're going to go that route, you should probably attend the advisory board meeting too.
Yes, I was going to ask Lexi that. Well, I already did ask her, but she said it was on 22nd, but I understand you guys moved it up a week.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but 15th, okay. Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, I'm in last week. All right, yeah, 10 a.m., I'll be there.
What, do we still have is there a contract? We had the contract for CMB to do the Shota. No? Okay. I don't know what I was asking then. Never mind. Thank you.
But if you recall at the roundtable, I would like to put together a 3-year plan for you guys to approve. Of course, you guys have to approve the DNG underwriting agreement. But if we do a 3-year plan where you guys say that you're going to do this and this for us for 3 years, then we don't have to come here. If we come short on money, we can go to the bank, provided you guys help us get an audit done.
What was that last request?
Audit? Whenever you guys do I can't remember what the terminology you guys used, but like an audit review, if you guys are going to do that with the districts, or if you're going to do full-blown audits with them, if you can.
Oh yeah, those are agreed upon procedures.
There you go, agreed upon procedures.
AUP.
AUP. Yeah, if you guys can include us in on that with the districts, you know, we'd really appreciate it. And then you would know that we're above board.
HIPAA.
Yeah, okay, so that, I guess we need a, more discussion on that, everything, because you guys have a board, and I imagine that board would be the one directing your audit and all that kind of stuff, so, roundtable, more discussion. I know we talked about it before, but that, we just have to do some more follow-up and discussion on that and what the actual, future is gonna look like, so.
And that could be topic of discussion for tomorrow, you know, for that advisory board meeting, so.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, council.
Brandon, did you have a couple motions you wanted to get approval for?
So
The first motion is going to be for the hemp feasibility study with the University of Minnesota. This motion is pertaining to a contract we signed with them for a no-cost extension. The date was wrong on there, so we need to make a motion to redo this agreement. The motion is going to be to amend the SWO Hemp Economic Feasibility Study Phase 2 agreement to extend the deadline to December 31st, 2023, and for the chairman to execute the agreement.
Hypa.
Are we gonna have another update? Is that, do you know when we have another update scheduled with them?
So when we execute this agreement, that would be for them to come out and they can start with the hemp stuff.
Okay.
And they'll utilize some of our summer youth to work.
So you made the motion?
Yes.
Right? Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion from all agencies, second from Haipa. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Brandon.
The motion for that is going to be to approve the following contracts for 2023 4th of July powwow. And it's going to be garbage. The name for garbage is going to be Tyrell Fallis for the amount of $8,000. Security is going to be Danielle Dakota for the amount of $8,000. Softball will be Jason Crawford for the amount of $7,000. Rodeo will be Gerald Jones for the amount of $10,000. Porta potties will be Dakota Portables for $11,000, and the PA system will be Lou Johnson for $3,000. So those will be the vendors, and the power budget will be the funding source, and to authorize the chairman to execute the contract pending legal review.
Megan, does that match up with what you had?
Yeah, I just need some clarification. So the legal department did receive an email in regards to the contracts needed. There was only 3 contracts that had motions by the powwow committee, so I just need clarification on the rodeo, softball, PA, and the crown. In the motions for the powwow committee, it states that the timeline was too short for those crown, softball, and rodeo, so we just need clarification for approval of the powwow committee.
So I went off last year's, they kind of had that blanket motion for all of them.
Yep.
With the amounts in there, and then if they needed a contract, then you guys would execute the contract
Yep.
through your office.
And we
Just to
usually
identify
have-
the ones. The powwow committee will identify the ones that they needed.
Yep, so they did identify, but we usually also get the motions from the powwow committee approving these certain vendors, so.
Okay.
I only received the Dakota Portables, Tyrell Fallis, and Danielle Dakota as motions by the powwow committee, so
Okay.
we just need clarification from the powwow committee on the rest of them.
Okay. I think we were thinking it would probably be a blanket motion because it was ARPA funding. They're federal dollars, and most of them, I think, exceeded that 5,000 mark.
Tribal Secretary.
Yeah, so I think in the past when we did that, even if they didn't exceed the 5,000, the chairman had a signature authority on it. So we still got to see the contract too.
Yep.
On all of those vendors that are even with your crown, with the softball, and then the PA system.
Okay.
There still needs to be contracts with those, so that way, when the chairman is signing those contracts, that gives us authorization that these are set amounts that are going out.
Correct.
So, yep.
Yep, I just needed the motions from the powwow committee on those certain ones that we didn't see in the minutes, and maybe there was later minutes that I didn't receive, but
I guess what I'm saying is they probably need to be individualized instead of a blanket motion. And then that way they're, number one, on the minutes, and then number two, the chairman has that signature authority when the contracts are done.
Yep.
Okay, I'll recuse my motion then.
Because I understand half of them already, right? Okay.
I got 3 of them.
Those are pretty standard contracts too, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so,
They'll turn around.
okay.
But they just need to be on they just need to be on the Powell's minutes, and then also,
Approved by the Powell Committee.
Yes.
And then the tribal council makes a motion for those certain contracts and certain contract amounts.
so I guess my question then, agency, do we need to, you guys have to have a meeting, right? And then we'll probably have to come in later on in a week or early next week to just approve them. Because your money's there, that's approved, so it's just depending on the contracts and the motions for those. So, okay.
I have one more for this, last one. Last one is for the purchase of the identity system. This is for the ID and permitting office. This did go through the procurement. We did have 2 quotes from that, and the identity system, the one we preferred. Was at the amount of $19,964, and that'll come out of the Kansas Commission budget.
Any questions or comments? Floor is open for a motion to approve. Okay, get a motion from Lake Traverse. Second from Long Hollow. Question from Tribal Secretary.
Can I get that from you, Brendan, when we're done, just so I get the proper spelling?
Yes.
Can you read me the motion, please? Yes.
Okay, thank you. I guess, Gary, are you ready? No? Yeah.
The one I passed out was, we have a COPS grant that's ending, and part of the grant was to order a CAD system, a recording system. So we had procurement get a hold of them in Coda, so it'd be to get the system that we needed for dispatch. So this is the amount, and it would, like I said, it would be taken out of our COPS grant. That's already budgeted for it. So any questions about it?
Any comments or questions, tribal council? Lake Traverse?
So this is the only estimate, or is this a sole source?
This is a sole source, yes.
Tribal secretary?
So they've did this in the past too, with the sole source with that company.
Yes.
And so this is pretty standard.
Yeah, Minn Kota handles all our radio systems through the squad cars, through dispatch.
Make that motion to approve the purchase.
Can't get a motion from all agency. Second from Lake Traverse. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you. All agency?
You giving a report here? Are you gonna do a report at all?
I would like to, I guess if you guys would like to discuss the internet crimes MOU agreement with the state, and also we still have that FBI MOU agreement. And I talked to some of you, and I did talk to the FBI. They do not want this, their MOU agreement disseminated for their purposes. So that's why I didn't give you a copy of it. The attorney does have a copy of it, Megan, for review. And it's my understanding that she did go through it. But it would be, one of our criminal investigators would be working alongside the FBI on certain cases that are only pertaining to our area. It could be drugs, it could be other things, other matters. So we've done it in the past. I think the first time we did it, it was a while back. It was called the Northern Safe Trails Drug Task Force then, but now it's task force because they do take on other issues that are occurring. Like I said, I'm always getting called, of course, in the past by past chairmen and past council people that are always inquiring about what cases are going on. I usually have to inquire with the FBI if they're willing to tell me what cases are going on. In this case scenario, we would have a criminal investigator in there to know what's going on and at least give you guys more answers.
All agency?
Is that something you'd like approved today, or?
I would like to get approved today. I know I think we talked about, you all know it's Woody Hawkins would be the investigator. And they have him doing some stuff, not just for them, but for the reservation on a whole as far as cases are concerning.
So it's been through the legal process then?
Yeah, she did review it, everything. The only one that probably be a holdup will be the internet crimes one, because that one, she did have sent some stuff to Toby, who came and visited us. She sent it to him for his opinion on it. So that would be the one to be the holdup.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
Okay, got a motion from all agency. Second from Enemy Swim. Question from Long Hollow.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Old agency.
So I seen you had some stuff in your report that you needed some upgrades with some vests and a few other things as well. Is that something that you might want to look into?
Yeah, we're working on it, and I did ask Lexi yesterday, just a brief, what, as far as my administrative assistant was looking, what line item to take it out of, and to create one, but we'll work with Lexi on it and get everything set up. We already started looking for the stuff that we are needed.
Thank you.
Yep. No. Full of holes. Swiss cheese one. But no, that's all. Otherwise, I'll wait for legal to get the other one approved, and she can approve that too, the internet crimes one. But otherwise, any questions for me as far as, I know the jail stuff, and I know Gypsy, I went through the MOU agreement, and I didn't see anything where it says we can put a staff member there at Roberts County. But, I mean, I talked to Tyler, Sheriff Apple, and he said that's something to consider, but procedure-wise, he wasn't quite sure how that would work.
Okay, and I guess if somebody there, I must have misspoke. It was just our jailers or our people can go in there.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That was the one thing, to make sure that we had somebody coming in there regularly, daily, or whatever, to check on the inmates.
Oh, yeah.
And check on their needs and what have you, because sometimes they don't always get to phone calls either.
Yeah, yeah. And I know it's a touchy situation. I mean, I understand where Ms. White and Ms. German were coming from and everything, and it's I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the police commission's concerned, they did go to the jail, they did talk to the inmates at the one complaint that was filed, and the police commissioner goes there often. He basically said that there was really nothing there, it was more discipline. The prison inmates were upset about, and, but because of what they caused, so.
Lake Travers.
So, I think part of this is like a communication thing that's going on, because I think that some of the inmates don't feel like they even have a voice. And so is there something that we can set up, like a complaint process? Do you have anything like that? Where you guys could be getting the complaints and you guys could be checking into it, or maybe somebody independent or something, because it just feels like there's a whole lot of complaints coming out from that jail from everywhere. I mean, we get so many of them, and I asked them to put it in writing, because I just believe that that's more important than, than just a verbal. But is there something like that we can set up? Because I think that it's just such a huge issue, and it just keeps coming up over and over. So if it's coming up over and over, there's something wrong then.
Yeah.
And you know that.
Yep.
And so that's what I would like to see as part of that agreement, that we have someone that will be able to go in, draw those complaints out, pick them up in writing, and then investigate and look into them. And to be honest, they don't always trust you guys. So if it could be somebody else that's independent, and then that way that would cut down on a lot of, what's happening. So if they're not valid complaints, that would take care of some of those. And then we could address the ones that are valid then.
The process, of course, we have, and I do get letters from inmates, just my inmates. And I actually have some from other inmates too, but mainly from mine, I'm just going to talk about my inmates. It is looked into. If there's something that needs to be more as far as documented records that they have at the sheriff's office there, the transport officers are pretty good at going there and looking at video. They allow them to look at video. They'll allow them to, whatever else that they have as far as the reports from the correctional officer staff there, medical. They do get to review everything there. So sorry why we don't get that many complaints on my inmates that are there. But I think for Tyler, every jail has a handbook for inmates on what's expected and what, for them to follow. I will talk to him about that. And as far as bring up the complaint process, if there's a better way of him handling that, because if it's not going to come through, if it's not my inmate, if it's someone else, I'll probably forward it on to legal, if that's okay with everybody. I don't know if you want a CC copy on it or anybody else wants. I know Dickie, he's in charge of the police commission. We can have him also. So, but to at least get those addressed.
Hypa.
Okay. Thank you. I think we can all agree that we know that there are racial tensions within our community, between the city and the tribe, or non-natives and natives. And it's not everybody, mind you, but we know it does exist. It does happen. And this isn't all something that you can address, but I just think we need to have a larger discussion with the larger community about what happens at Roberts County, because I do know there have been, even some employees, native tribal members that are employees at the Roberts County Sheriff's Office, that have been discriminated against. And if there's, how do you prove that? Some of their rights have been violated as employees, as individuals, their civil rights, their legal rights. And then just some of the derogatory comments that some of the staff make about the Native American inmates. And whilst I keep bringing this up, not only just the Native people under our jurisdiction, but the bigger issue is all Native Americans within that jail, regardless of whose jurisdiction they're under. And I know I spoke with the chairman before and some of the other council members and stuff, and this is something that we need to have a bigger discussion on, and more widely known practices of what our jurisdiction is, what the city and states, city or county jurisdictions are. We constantly, hear complaints about city police stopped me on tribal land, or county, went to, tribal land and, tried to come to my house and get me and stuff. And maybe there are, I don't know what those extradition requirement, what those things are. I know we've been told that if there's assistance requested, city police or county can go into the tribal areas if we've requested assistance, but I don't know, what those requirements are that would justify requesting assistance and stuff. And so I think a lot of those things could be made more public if you had the processes laid out. And my other question, I guess my other thing was, well, how much does police commission have involved, with this whole process? Does police commission get involved in any of that stuff? Can they, all of that? So, because I don't know all of the behind the scenes stuff that you guys do, and what we're allowed to know or not know and stuff. So that's that.
Yeah, and I think since the police commissioner was going to the jail anyways, he took it upon himself to look into those issues and stuff. That's kind of why he got involved. But I mean, if that's something, another process we want to add them to, I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
Whole agency.
Well, we got some time. Can you expand on the internet, the Internet Child Crimes Act and that MOU? Why we would need that on the reservation?
We don't have very good internet crimes right now, if we have any, if you look at our codes. So the state of South Dakota reached out, not just to us, but all the other tribes, to say, hey, we're here to help. Of course, our what I want to say, it's just not limited, because internet crimes can happen anywhere within the nation. One of our tribal members can be a victim from someone from anywhere. There's no borders. These people see no borders, no jurisdiction or anything like that. So this is just they just gave us a tool, a technique for us to do better at our investigations. They know there's a big gap. They identified the gap with all the tribes, and it is investigation and it is jurisdiction. So they provide the training. They'll provide laptops. They'll provide access to for the investigators to get more depth into their investigations on internet crimes. So they really so that's what they're doing. They're reaching out. They don't want to come in to system often to take over investigation. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that to any of the tribes. They just want to make sure that this complaint is getting addressed, because they're getting the complaints and they can't do anything about it on the reservation. And so even if they forward them on to us, we don't have the right judicial code to address them. So they'll help us with addressing the code. They'll help us with anything to move forward on these investigations. That's what where Toby came and did that visiting. In a nutshell, that's kind of what it is.
So they'll be providing the training, the equipment, and their services, access
Yes.
to their services.
Yes.
And providing safety for our children mainly, children and people getting exploited on the reservation within our boundaries and being targeted for, what would you say, like child pornography,
Yes.
child trafficking, stuff like that.
Yes.
We'd have that capability to assert our sovereignty and our jurisdiction over them.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Gary, appreciate it.
Yeah, this is just what they gave us, and I think we all seen it, and it was just an MOU agreement to say, hey, we're working together and helping each other out. Yep.
That's good to have a lot of firsts like that, especially if the FBI is willing to work with us, recognize our sovereignty, and that we should be at the table. I think these are some big firsts for the tribe.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary.
Yep.
Enemy swim.
So when we first had that roundtable, when did we first have that roundtable, Gary?
Boy, the first one was with the old council.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I said then we can take action as council to implement our own codes so that we can start prosecuting these crimes that are affecting our youth, and especially internet crimes. As you guys know, bullying has become an issue where it's becoming borderline threatening, and that's another thing that's going to hit our table eventually. So my thing to council, is you guys always know, is I'm willing to go ahead and utilize Chapter 21, and we use our authority to make law as legislators. Or if Gary would like to be a proponent and come to the judicial committee and work out the process that way. Those are the two options on the table, but I would like one of those to move forward today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I agree. I always get a lot of questions about jurisdiction, and obviously in that case, with an MOU, that can be viewed as an extension of our jurisdiction, when it comes to internet crimes. And, I always get questions about, how are we protecting our children? How are we protecting, pretty much anybody can be vulnerable through, internet. So, I really appreciate it, Dallas, for taking the initiative and, really wanting to push something forward as far as a code to have these protections in place for our people. So I really encourage that. So thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, just real quick then, would you like council to take action as a legislative body, or would you like to refer this to the judicial committee?
You know, me personally, I'd like to see everybody work together on that, and
So with that then, I'd like to make a motion to refer this issue to the judicial committee and enhancing our codes in relation to online laws and trafficking and, how'd you say that, Gary? I forget the whole term for this process. Online crimes, there you go.
No, internet crimes against
Internet
children.
crimes.
Yep.
Tribal Secretary, did you have something?
Yeah, I lost my train of thought because you were saying shopping. But no, we've talked about this for, about a year and a half.
Yep.
And I personally would like to see something, push forward immediately. I think this is a very big need because of, the fast pace of how the internet's, moving. And I think the sooner the better we have this in place, the sooner we can start implementing it. But I also understand if you guys want to go through the judicial process, that I'm good with that too. But I mean, like at the end of the day, council does have that authority to move these things at a quicker pace if need be, if we deem this that it's very important to our membership. So.
Whole agency.
Before I make the second to Dallas's motion, if this doesn't go through, would you like to add a timeline for this thing?
So the quickest that this can go through, if it follows all the processes, is 3 months. That's the quickest.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion from Enemy Swim, a second from Whole Agency. Question from Lake Traverse.
Three months, a good timeline for you, Gary?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Enemy Swim.
Gary, is it okay if I meet with you then and we can work something out? All right, excellent,
Anytime.
thank you.
HIPAA.
So on top, this discussion with all of our laws and everything, and I know that's something we've all been discussing since this term started. We have a lot of different topics that we need legal advice on, business advice, et cetera. And I know our in-house attorneys are very busy, overstretched and stuff, and I'd like to make a motion for the executives to hire a law firm that would have the expertise within their organization to address several different issues, such as our tax, land, environmental, et cetera. That's it. Thank you. Motion.
Okay, Enemy Swim.
I applaud the enthusiasm on that one, but I don't want to let the executives alone be in charge of that. I believe that would be our authority and then with chairman's signature. And then what would be the process for procurement?
What does that be?
An RFQ.
RFP or RFQ, whatever it is for.
SOQ or something,
Yeah.
statement of qualification. I don't-
Something of that nature would
Yes.
make me more comfortable and getting behind that.
Yes. So, yeah, for it to be put out for bid, and then, so you're saying you would like council's, approval on that besides just the executives? Okay. Yeah,
Well-
I guess,
One thing I just want to say too, that's been advertised for the exec committee to hire legal counsel. That's been on there for a couple of years, so we're starting to see a real need for that right now. It's not that we have a lot of legal issues going on, but there's a lot of contract reviews. The workload is a lot for 2 in-house attorneys. At one point, I think we had 3, and then we had outside and, a couple outside. So, it's kind of one of the things that at this point in time, that's where we're at, as far as operations of our tribe go and trying to make things move along as smoothly as possible. We talked a little bit about that yesterday on reorganizing and what does that look like. We all know things don't move as fast as we'd like them, and sometimes, it's a number of different issues. So I think, this is just adding another resource to be able to allow for us, to be able to move things along a lot quicker. Like I said yesterday, we're up against that 2-year term limit, and, even that's outdated, and it really doesn't leave us enough time to make really some big strides and change in how we operate more efficiently as a tribe. So, Tribal Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other thing is, we've had roundtables with legal too, and they're trying to get back to, having a full staff on hand to take care of a lot of these issues too. Like the chairman just mentioned, we used to have 3 legal at our disposal, and right now we don't have that right now, and she wants to get back to that. Plus, we got a couple outside legal. I understand that HIEPA's motion is for expertise in certain areas, but I think we need to beef up our in-house legal before we start going outside first. That's just my opinion, but I do see the need at the same time. So that's going to be, I guess, all of our decision moving forward on whether or not we want to move forward with that. And there is a motion for that too. It's been there for a while. So I just want to mention that. Thank you.
Enemy swim.
And the reason why I would like it just bid out, I know it's been 2 years, but you're going from like an hourly position into what I'm assuming is a firm. And so that's why I would like it just bid out for 2 weeks. And then that way, if we don't get a bid procurement process, then whoever's willing to come in, you just sole source from there. But that's where I'm going with that one, Gypsy.
yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with bidding it out. That's fine. But as far, we have a lot of issues already that we're dealing with that we do need expertise on, and we can't wait another 3, 6 months or a year to build up within our legal. And again, these are outside issues, and if we already have experts, we won't have to pay our in-house attorneys to research an issue that there's already experts on. And then, so anyway, my motion is to bid out for a law firm with the executives, or whatever it was that you wanted to make sure we include in there with that.
Yeah, I just want to, again, say that that's been advertised for a long time, and so we're not getting any hits internally. So I think it's probably worth the while just to see what's out there, I guess.
If it's okay, Mr. Chairman. Clarify, what are you wanting in that bid process? May I recommend that we have tribal taxation, lease, farming, and then add in cannabis, and then just put in other tribal-related issues?
So you want to have specific things in there?
Yeah, we're talking,
Requesting that,
if
yes.
we're bidding out, yeah, we need those
Yeah,
things.
yes.
All right, quick.
Yep.
Okay, got a motion from Enemy Swim, a second from Lake Travers. Oh, motion from HIEPA, sorry. Second from Lake Travers, and a question from Enemy Swim.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. I guess with that being said, I just wanted to take a moment and recognize Gary and Coke. You both have been an essential part of our tribe's journey and success, and we are grateful for your dedication and hard work in serving and protecting and keeping our people safe. So I'd like to congratulate you, Gary, on your 30th anniversary, and Coke on your 4th. So I thank you for all your hard work. 40th, sorry. Yeah, thank you for all your hard work, and would like to honor you today for those work anniversaries that you've achieved. So I really appreciate you guys, and thank you again to not only you, but your families that are there to support you. And so I want to thank them too as well for being here and sharing in this moment with you. Any other comments from Tribal Council? Enemy Swim?
So my family's been working with you guys in law enforcement for many years. I mean, when I think of tribal law enforcement, I just think of you guys. You're all I ever known. And so you've been there and you've been helping us out in the community. You've been working very well with my family. I just appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you.
Tribal Secretary?
So, yeah, me too. I've known Gary for a long time. I think he's even thrown me in a couple times, but I won't go into detail with that. But I just want to say I really appreciate your dedicated service to our tribe, our community, more importantly, and keeping our families safe, our kids safe, and And Coke, I think I've known you forever too. I mean, I grew up with your son and went to school with him, both of them actually. And so, I mean, you guys are just a big part of when we say law enforcement. I mean, people just, tend to remember you guys, because you guys have been there a long time. And I just want to congratulate you guys on your years of service and your dedication. So thank you.
Susie?
I'd like to express my appreciation to both of you because in the past you have been there for me. And one service that I think you guys should be recognized for is that you always pay tribute to those who pass away at our funerals and do the escorts for our people. And I appreciate you for making that ultimate sacrifice and thinking about serving SWO Oyate before you pay attention to your own family. But I appreciate your years of service. Thank you.
I would like to thank the both of you for your services to our SWO, and I appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
Lake Traverse?
I also want to thank you for your years of service because 30 and 40 years is milestones. So congratulations on that.
I just wanted to say thank you also, and then say yay, because Gary graduated with me.
All agency?
Well, congratulations for 30 and 40 years of service. And I'd like to thank you guys for the opportunity as a young man employing me and giving me the opportunity to learn and see how the law enforcement works for our people and the struggles you go through, the hardships you've had to endure over the years. I couldn't only imagine. My brother's put in a lot of years of service there, and he struggles with some of the things that he's gone through. So 30 and 40 years of dedicated and selfless service to the tribe, I think is a big honor. And I applaud you and thank you for sticking it out and for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you guys both come forward? We got a couple gifts for you. Just for everybody that's here too, Gary and Coke and the family, we have some food for all of you. We have some lunch, so we're bringing that in and cake, so.
Yeah, you guys don't go anywhere. We have lunch provided too. So we want to feed everybody and make sure that we got some donuts for the. So we got food to feed you. We got donuts. So. Donuts and bacon.
Okay, I just want to, before we get started with the lunch, I just want to conclude, that concludes our agenda, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, don't go anywhere.
Oh, shake hands. Shake hands. Okay. Shake hands, Curdy.
You don't know which hand to use.
Nice.
I can't tell which one is 30 and 40.
I just like to know how much donuts you had over the years.
Bill Owen always makes me laugh. I want to stay here as long as Coke. Well, still here. That's not gonna happen.
With that, then can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion from Enemy Swim, second from Tribal Secretary. We're adjourned. Thank you.